Welcome back to Filmmaster Reviews. I'm Adam J, bringing you my ranking of the Transformers movie franchise. For future content on this channel, please click that like button and that subscribe button. With the recent release of Transformers Rise of the Beasts, I figured this would be a good time to take a look back and rank all the Transformers films from worst to best. I'll be honest, as I stated in my review for Rise of the Beasts, I am not the biggest fan of this film franchise. I think only 3 movies in this list are legitimately good, one of them is passable, and the rest are pretty much trash to me. So if you do like all of these movies, I'm probably not going to be your favorite person to watch rank them. With that said, this is all opinion, and I'd love to see what your ranking is in the comments, so please do that after the video. Without further ado, let's get started. Coming at number 8 for me is undoubtedly Transformers Age of Extinction. This is one of the worst films I have ever seen, and on top of that, sitting through this movie was probably the most miserable movie-going experience I have ever had. I remember me and my buddy Spidey seeing this in theaters, and for the love of God, nothing happened in this movie, and it just would not end. Nothing interesting was on screen. The action was beyond lame. The story was non-existent. The characters were terrible. The Dinobots are barely in the movie despite being in all the marketing. Statutory rape is a plot point. And dear God, it just refused to end. I mean, I got nothing, guys. I still, from time to time, have nightmares that I am still in that theater and it is still refusing to end and let me leave like I'm a damn Vietnam veteran or some shit. I am not even joking about that. And if you're wondering why I didn't leave that night, it's because Spidey paid for my ticket and I didn't want to be a dick. Yes, I didn't want to be that asshole, but ask yourself, at what cost? I'll tell you at what cost. My motherfucking sanity, that was the fucking cost! Coming in just below that at number 7 is Transformers The Last Night. It can be argued that from a technical perspective, this was even worse than Age of Extinction. And yes, The Last Night is more competently made, with constant frame rate changes every 10 to 20 seconds and horrendous editing. However, while I can concede it's a worse made film, I wasn't as miserable sitting through it as I was with Age of Extinction. The misery I felt with that film was god tier compared to this. This movie was just more annoying to me than anything else. Between making Prime a bad guy for most of it, Contessa being one of the most useless villains I've ever seen in a film, and turning Unicron into Earth. No, Unicron is actually Earth in this movie, and Bumblebee fought the Nazis, and the Underground Railroad was a Transformer, and goddammit, fuck my life, someone just shoot me. The film features bad acting, an ill-conceived plot, and at this point, my ass was just tapped out with this franchise. My buddy Robert Storms and I went into this film drunk, and it didn't help at all. I mean, we got hammered at the bar next to the theater before we went in. When booze can't help me enjoy your movie, you got a problem, Michael Bay. At number 6 is Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. I'll give this one a little more credit over Age of Extinction and The Last Night. This film was rushed into production during a writer's strike, and it clearly shows, as the script for the film feels unfinished with many plot points going nowhere, and a lot of characters feeling very superfluous to the overall plot. So this one at least had an excuse as to why it was bad. And even Michael Bay himself admitted he wasn't happy with the final product. To his credit, they did do better with the third film, which you will see much higher on this list. Still, it can't be denied the film is pretty bad. Between Shia LaBeouf acting like a dingus through most of it, Julie White getting high on pop brownies, the Fallen being as generic a villain as they come, and several lines of dialogue contradicting the story. For example, there's a scene where Megatron returns and tells Starscream, "Even in death there is no command but mine." Then in the very next shot, Megatron kneels before the Fallen and says, "Master, I have failed you on Earth." No command but yours, my ass! Also, the Fallen states that only a Prime can defeat him, but Megatron kills Optimus Prime. He kills Optimus. So, yeah, why is Megatron being this guy's bitch again? I don't get this. So yeah, this movie is terrible, but look on the bright side, guys. It forever gave us Megan Fox straddling a motorcycle.
I mean, that's got to be what the goalposts are, right? Am I crazy?
Coming in at number 5 is Transformers Rise of the Beasts. I just did a review of this. I'll leave a link in the description. For now, I'll just give you the highlights. I felt the Maximals from Beast Wars were done so dirty, especially Cheetor and Rhinox. The film's plot is literally the same plot as Revenge of the Fallen. The only reason I put this above Revenge of the Fallen on this list is because, well, Mudflap and Skids don't exist in this one, and that makes me a somewhat happy Adam. The actors do a fine job for the most part, but the characters are super thin. And when it tries to do something interesting, it all but abandons it. The best thing I can say for this one is that the action is shot well for the most part, and Pete Davidson gets a few legit laughs as Mirage. That's all I got for this one. I'm sorry guys, it wasn't for me. At number 4 is Transformers 2007. Now, I'll admit, when I first saw this movie in theaters, I liked it a lot. I thought it was cool seeing the Transformers in a live-action movie. That scene where the Autobots first show up in the alleyway and transform was an awesome moment and had a legitimately great build-up. I do like Shia LaBeouf as an actor, I always have. That scene of Scorponok in the desert was awesome, and just hearing Megatron say the words, "You failed me yet again, Starscream," put a huge damn smile on my face. In retrospect, there's a lot to like in this film. And there still is. But as time went on, the euphoria kinda died down for me, and I started to notice all the flaws in the film. Most of the humor is low-hanging fruit. John Turturro, who I normally love in movies, is just annoying in this. A great deal of the plot doesn't really make sense. Like, seriously, how the fuck did the Autobots know about the location being printed on the glasses? It's always bugged me. And let's be honest, Megan Fox is gorgeous, but she's not very good here. In fact, she's quite awful. I've honestly liked Megan Fox in other things, mostly when she does comedy. She does have some talent, it's just not on display here because Michael Bay was more concerned with showing how hot she was rather than getting a decent performance out of her. So yeah, the movie has some bright spots, but they do not make up for all the problems that plague it. Then again, as far as the first live action outing for the Transformers goes, it's got enough action and enough dumb fun to make it memorable. Coming in at number 3 for me is Transformers Dark of the Moon. This is the Transformers movie from Michael Bay that, from day one, I always liked. It toned down a lot of the annoying comedy from the first 2 films, focused more on the Transformers and their lore, and gave me exactly what I always wanted from a live-action Transformers film. Look, when they announced the first film, I said to myself, the only way you're making this work is if you have the Decepticons invade us and have Autobots protect us. I mean, seems like a pretty fucking simple concept, but no! The first film had them pussyfooting around looking for the cube. Then the second film had them pussyfooting around looking for a damn matrix of leadership. In this, they finally said, fuck it. Full-scale invasion of Earth with the intent of enslaving us as a workforce. That's what I always wanted to see, and I finally got it here. It's simple, it's effective, and I especially liked how they tied the film to the space race of the 1960s. Such a cool idea. Having Leonard Nimoy back to voice Sentinel Prime was awesome. That man voicing anything was an automatic win, may he rest in peace. I loved Megatron's new Mad Max style design, and for once, Sam Witwicky was a character I really liked. He's someone who has saved the world twice and has pretty much just been forgotten about. He just wants to matter to people, to be seen as important. I think everyone goes through that at some point in their life, and I found it relatable. I also found his girlfriend Carly, played by Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, to be a huge upgrade from Megan Fox. But the best thing about this film is honestly the Transformers action. The whole second half of this movie just fucking rocks. I'm sorry, Shockwave is the fucking GOAT Decepticon. The first half has its moments too, love the Chernobyl scene, but unfortunately there are still some dumb comedy bits they shove in there. Luckily though, they get them out of the way rather quickly. They are seriously downplayed compared to the first 2 films. So yeah, when it comes to Dark of the Moon, I will certainly give the devil his due. Michael Bay did very well with this one. And number 2 for me is Transformers the movie from 1986. The reason I like this movie is not for reasons of nostalgia, but for just the sheer amount of balls this movie has. I mean, Jesus, the Devastator testicles in Revenge of the Fallen ain't got shit on this movie. In literally the first 45 minutes of this film, just about every major character from the show, including Optimus Prime, are brutally murdered. Like, goddamn, if I was a kid in the 80s, I would have been traumatized. And here I thought death scenes didn't get more devastating than Dinobot and Beast Wars, but holy fucking hell was my ass wrong. Aside from this movie swinging its dick at the fences and knocking them into China, the film also has a fun story, fun characters, and it doesn't have any of that human character annoyance that you see in these other films. There are human characters, but they're in service of the Transformers. The Transformers are still the main characters, and this proves that they can carry a movie by themselves. It's filled with memorable moments like Hot Rod becoming Rodimus Prime, and Unicron eating entire civilizations, and as previously stated, the brutal destruction of so many childhoods. Also, not gonna lie, having Megatron resurrected as Galvatron only to be voiced by Leonard Nimoy is beyond amazing. I mean, how do you top that? Oh yeah, you get Orson motherfucking Welles to voice Unicron. I don't care if he was phoning it in like Brett Ratner directing a Rush Hour sequel, he sounded friggin' awesome and I will allow it. The only real problem I have with this movie is the simple fact that unless you're familiar with the story of the show, it is very hard to understand at times. Because the movie just kind of throws you into the story without actually explaining any of the characters or the situations. I'll admit, when I first saw the movie when I was younger, it was hard to get into it because of this. Loved the action, but the story wasn't fully clear to me until I went online years later and started watching the original show. So yeah, it was definitely made for the fans and to promote a new line of toys, but when you're giving me drama and action this good, sell as many fucking toys as you want. Transformers the movie is a damn good time. And at number 1 for me is Transformers Bumblebee. As much as I really enjoyed the bombastic action scenes in Dark of the Moon, and the sheer, we don't give a shit about your child's feelings mentality of Transformers the movie, I have to give credit where credit is due. Bumblebee is undoubtedly the best Transformers movie to date. It harkened back to movies like E.T. and Flight of the Navigator, delivering a fun, action-packed, and yet very wholesome family film. Haley Steinfeld was so good in this, playing probably the best human character in any of these films, and her scenes with Bumblebee as well as her own family really gave the film some much needed heart. Just the opening scene of this movie alone was better than anything in any of the Michael Bay films, with Travis Knight opting to show us the war on Cybertron for the first time in live action. And everything you could possibly want is there. The Transformers and Cybertron look fantastic. It really feels like your childhood come to life on the big screen. And it only took them 6 live-action movies to finally accomplish this. It was like Travis Knight looked at all the complaints regarding the original 5 films and said, you know what? I can fix that. So how would you rank these movies? Please let me know in the comments, and please subscribe if you'd like to see more.